Welcome to the broadcast. I am Ashley Mazuri. Now let's begin. Moi University Vice Chancellor Professor Isaac Kosgei is currently at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission offices in Eldoret to record a statement over the management of the institution. The ESCC has already listed 11 projects valued at 2.2 billion shillings, which are under investigations. Other officers invited for the interview and statement recording included the head of the development unit, Moses Kipkulei, the head of procurement, Wilson Bett, and chief accountant, Eglad Samoei. Let us look at those pictures on your screen on that particular story, even as we continue following that developing story. Now, security delegates from Regional Center on Small Arms member states are meeting in Nairobi to review the framework strides made in the war against proliferation of small arms and light weapons. The meeting is part of efforts to combat insecurity threats within the 15 countries in Eastern and Central Africa. Speaking when he opened the event that will run from Wednesday to Friday, Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo said Kenya is committed to working closely with all member states and relevant partners to enhance coordination and bolster our collective efforts to improve information sharing and respond to the illicit circulation of small arms and light weapons.
It's an opportunity for us to also craft tangible strategies that will shape the future of REXA and our efforts to manage small arms and light weapons across the region. As you consider the agenda, I want to urge you to bring forward strategies that will support the long-term objectives of REXA and provide clear, actionable recommendations to strengthen our collective mission.
As focal points, please, let's emphasize on sharing ideas, sharing insights, as we agreed since Monday that we are going to do what we are supposed to do with be defaulted so that we save our regions.
The government has onboarded 18,000 services through the national and together with other immigration functions now collect 400 billion shillings in immigration. Now this is according to Principal Secretary Professor Julius Bitok. Bitok said that there was a huge leap in the cash collection following the government's deliberate move to put most of its services on the digital platform, becoming the first country in the world to have such a number of services online. Speaking when he took the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Acting Interior and National Coordination Cabinet Secretary through their services at the Nyayo House, Professor Bitok said that Kenya has had surpassed Rwanda with about 700 services online, alongside other countries like India and most of the European countries, which has had less than 500 such functions digitally. More than 200 Kenyan tourism stakeholders are currently meeting with their Ugandan counterparts in Kampala for a two-day conference that seeks to strengthen partnerships that started 3 years ago. Our reporter Tobias Chanji is attending that particular conference.
After 10 days farm trip that saw Kenyan tourism stakeholders traverse various spots in Uganda, today both government officials from Uganda and Kenya will be gracing a 2 days conference to take stock and the partnership that it is in its third edition. Remember that the partnership initially was between the Kenyan coast and the Uganda, but now it has also roped in Nairobi city, and there are various expectations of this conference.
This is Ambassador Paul Mukumbia, the Consul General of Uganda based in Mombasa. We wish to welcome all our Ugandan and Kenyan delegates to the third Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Conference and Exhibition. We just finished the farm trip, which happened from 9th to 18th. We also had a golf tournament on 9th November at Kitanta Golf Club. And today is the culmination of all the activities related to the tourism, the third Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Conference. I urge all of you to engage, to strengthen the networks, to build the networks, synergies so that we achieve our objective of complementarity between Uganda and the Kenya Coast tourism products. I wish you fruitful deliberations.
My name is Dr. Sami Kwae. I've just arrived at Spec Resort here in Munyonyo. We are now starting the two-day conference of the Kenya-Uganda conference that is going to happen here. We are elated. We have had a very good time as an advanced team that did sample the great Ugandan product.
My name is Lillian from Coral Spirit in Diani. I'm one of the tour operators invited by the Uganda Mombasa Consulate to attend a farm tour trip. We've just come back from a 10-day tour, a farm trip of Uganda. We've visited different parks and we have seen what Uganda has to offer. And today we are here for a conference to meet our fellow other tour operators, to exchange ideas and to see what Uganda has to offer.
It's an amazing job the Ugandan consulate in Mombasa is doing. We are expecting to increase our business and our exchange with the Ugandan people. We expect many people to come to the Kenya coast. Please, welcome.
I'm expecting that the Kenyans that are here, I think about 200 of them, will be able to make connections and collaborations with Ugandan tour operators. We are in for 2 days of fun, 2 days of interaction and learning. We will have a cocktail in the evening and a gala dinner later tomorrow.
The various speakers will give keynote addresses, include ministers from Uganda and county government officials from Kenya, and they'll be looking forward to an increase of numbers in tourists from both countries. And after this conference, it will be the turn of Kenyans to host tourism stakeholders from Uganda. From Speke Mnyonyo, Kampala, Uganda, it's me, Tobias Chanji.
Thank you, Tobias Chanji, for that. Now, coming back home, Governor Anwai Guru says Kirinyaga is the new frontier for investment due to the conducive environment her administration has created for businesses to thrive. Guru said apart from investing in good infrastructure, modernization of towns and creating business-friendly policies, availability of raw material from production is drawing investors to Kirinyaga. Speaking during the official opening of NCBA Kerugoya branch, the governor asked investors to take advantage of the conducive investment environment to put up businesses in Kirinyaga. The governor said due to the support she has given to farmers through the Wezesha Kirinyaga program, farmers across all value chains have almost doubled production.
95% of our people are farmers or depend on farming directly or indirectly. And we have invested significantly as a county government in that area.
Are committed to ensuring that this region continues with its growth and development. And to this end, we will provide access to credit and working capital solutions to help farmers manage their harvest cycles and strengthen the value chain funding for improved productivity, while also undertaking financial literacy programs to strengthen their investment capabilities.
We are very active in asset finance, SME banking, or from an ecosystem perspective, whether it is milk or tea. We are looking at rice as well, which is a major economy in this county, to support and help the economy and the narrative of Kirinyaga rice.
Now, a cross-section of women representatives from various counties in the country have condemned gender-based violence, saying it is retrogressive and causes discrimination against particular gender in society. Speaking at a Gesieka market in Kitutu Chache, North Kisii County, where they were hosted by Kisii Women Rep Doris Donya Aburi, the women rep singled out female genital mutilation, teenage pregnancies, early marriages and murders. Vihiga Women Rep Beatrice Adagala hinted of underway plans to sponsor a bill in Parliament aimed at handing life imprisonment to perpetrators of gender-based violence. She also petitioned the Ministry of Education to introduce respect for the women and girl child in the curriculum to instill a deterrent culture of trampling on their rights. Kiambu Women Rep Anwa Muratha claimed they were on a mission to assist President William Ruto.
Tunapanga, tunaenda kuweka bill law kali kabisa. Ukipatikana umedhulumu mama ama mtoto mdogo, wewe unaenda kabisa maisha. Jambo lingine, waziri wa education amekuwa hapa, na tunataka katika curriculum iwekwe mambo wafunze watoto vacho hizo mapema sana, watoto wakiwa bado wadogo.
Na nyinyi wanaume tafadhali, nataka niwasihi na niwaombe, mpende wasichana kama vile Mungu aliwaumba. Wacheni kuwalazimisha kama ya wasichana. Mimba ya mapema ya wasichana inarudisha uchumi ya taifa nyuma.
Akina baba wakiongoza kwenye mstari wa mbele, tutakuwa mbali sana.
Utakapojipenda utapenda hata huyo mtu mwingine. Kama wewe ni mama single, unajipenda kwa sababu wewe ni single. Mama single muko? Mama single muko? Si mnalea watoto peke yenu?
Oh, you're watching News Desk. We'll take a short commercial break. I'll be back with more news updates. Keep it KTN. Welcome back and thank you for staying with News Desk. Now, as the world marked World Toilet Day, a section of stakeholders in Kisumu have expressed their concerns over the high number of people still practicing open defecation at 4.8%. According to Fred Olwach, who is the Director of Public Health in Kisumu, he said that the numbers are worrying, urging residents to adopt this use of modern toilets, which can easily address the issues of open defecation as well as improve sanitation. At the same time, the Lake Victoria Basin Commission has planned a series of infrastructure projects in slum areas within the city to build toilets at a cost of 1.6 billion shillings.
County. This is not very good, even though if you compare with the national government, the national open defecation, which is at 7.1, but I think for Kisumu is 4.8, but we can do better than that. So we are aiming to make sure that we bring that open defecation to below 1%.
We do have a project, an integrated water resources management, to try and improve the water quality of this lake through reducing the untreated effluent that enters into the lake. That's why this day is very important for us, but also for the community, because the toilet is one of the facility we use to reduce untreated effluent that enters that lake and deteriorates the lake.
Now, the residents of Isiolo County received a boost after renovation of several health facilities across the county and improved services to cater for the residents. The county upgrading of the facilities by the county government of Isiolo, led by Governor Abdi Guyo, have seen the health facilities receive medication on time and construction of an accident and emergency center at the Isiolo County Referral Hospital and a newborn unit at the ICTRH.
Tumepata some new staffs. We have 6 nurses, new nurses. We have 2 clinical officers wameongezwa, 2 radiographers na 2 health records officers. So now I think services will improve.
We have also those dispensaries in the farthest end of Gubatu, Eldera, Mogore that were not operational. Since the inception of this that devolution, it has taken off. A good move is that Eldera dispensary, the county government through the Department of Health has already posted a nurse, and wananchi there are getting services.
Dawa na madaktari hatuna kasoro, tuko sawa sawa, tumehudumiwa kutosha. Tunashukuru wale ambao wanahusika, hasa kwa county government. Nasema shukran kwa wale wanahusika wote.
From Isiolo County, let's head to Kilifi County, where fishermen at Uyombo Beach Management Unit in Matangoni area of Kilifi North Sub-County have benefited with the construction and equipping of a cold storage facility from the European Union as part of the Italian component in the Go Blue program. Now, while handing over the project, the EU head of governance in Nairobi, Alexander Baron, who was accompanied by the Italian ambassador to Kenya, Roberto Natali, said that the fully fledged facility will go a long way in improving the livelihood of fishermen in the area, adding that in the Go Blue program, also All the coastal counties under the Jumuiya ya Counties of Pwani will benefit from the EU-funded program.
All the fish, most of the fish they catch, they are bought by Chinese middlemen, especially the lobsters from land. Then they export them to China, where they are repackaged and exported back to Europe as a product of China. We cannot export directly to Europe because we do not have the certification. This is one thing that we raised with the Italian authorities at our last visit, and it will really be helpful to our fishermen if we could get assistance on how we can get certification that will enable our fishermen to export their product directly from Kenya to Europe.
Yes, you have helped us as the coast counties. You have given us boats, we have trained our people, but still all these fishermen, after they get this good harvest, you have now the money is from the European Union, but it's benefiting the Chinese. So we really insisted on this in our meeting in Rome, that we get the European Union to get also an investor who can get the certification both in Europe and locally here.
We fully understand what you're saying about the fact that right now the Chinese may be the one benefiting the most from the skilling of the fishermen that we've done so far. And it's something that we want to look at in terms of making the economic partnership agreement between the EU and Kenya a reality and a major economic opportunity for both European and Kenyan.
Let's now shift focus to the COP29 summit that is currently underway in Baku, where the government of Azerbaijan has promised to support developing countries with funding to meet their commitments under the convention. However, political tension has overshadowed the talks after Argentina pulled its delegation from Baku. Our health and science reporter Chebet Birir with this report.
COP29 summit are trying to make progress on how to raise up to $1 trillion in climate finance for the world's most vulnerable countries. According to a report from the independent high-level expert group on climate finance, the target annual figure would need to rise from $1 trillion to at least $1.3 trillion a year by 2035 if countries fail to act now.
The reality of the situation is that 1.3 trillion pales in the face of the 7 trillion that is spent annually on fossil fuel subsidies. The money is there. It is just in exactly the wrong place.
The success of this year's UN Climate Summit depends on whether countries can agree on a new finance target for richer countries, development lenders, and the private sector to deliver each year.
Not talking about how big this new climate finance goal going to be is a missed opportunity, because that signal would have helped COP29 process a lot more, where developing countries have been asking developed countries to talk about the scale of finance.
However, documents published by the UN show that the present situation is that countries and leaders are reading from totally different pages on the subject. Many Western governments are reluctant to pledge big sums. Additionally, the likely withdrawal of the United States from any future funding deal will pile more pressure on the delegates to come up with alternative funding models to meet their financing obligations.
So the outcome that we saw coming out of G20 is backsliding from the previous commitments. We saw the statement mentioning the COP28 agreement, but only in parts, and no language on transitioning away from fossil fuels. And that's a betrayal, because what we want G20 and other such summits to underscore that the world has decided to transition away from fossil fuels.
Many countries say money is essential to setting of ambitious climate goals ahead of next year's COP30 in Brazil. But reaching a deal could be tough at this year's summit, where the mood has been soured by public disagreements and pessimism about shifts in global politics. Countries such as Ghana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Kenya have been highlighted as the most vulnerable to extreme effects of climate change. Chebet Birir, KTN News, Nairobi.
Well, that report by Chebet Birir brings News Desk